Let's talk about something that trips up a lot of teachers when they start using AI in the classroom. Standards. You've got curriculum standards, you're accountable to state standards, ACTFL proficiency benchmarks if you're teaching language, ISTE standards if your school leans into that framework, maybe a district pacing guide sitting on top of all of it. And then here comes this powerful new tool that can generate a lesson plan, a quiz, a rubric, a whole unit in about 30 seconds. The temptation is to just use it. Let the AI build the thing and hope it lines up with what you're actually required to teach. Here's the problem with that. AI doesn't know your standards unless you tell it your standards. It doesn't know your state's specific benchmarks. It doesn't know where your class is in the pacing guide. And it definitely doesn't know that your principal is going to walk through that lesson looking for a specific objective code written at the top of your lesson plan. If you skip the alignment step, you end up with content that's polished, engaging, generated in seconds, and completely disconnected from what you're actually supposed to be teaching that week. So today we're going to fix that. This is where Harness, the second link in chain, really earns its name. Connect gave you the why, the mindset shift towards seeing AI as a thinking partner. Harness is where you take the raw power of the tool and point it at something specific, something with an actual target. And nothing is more specific, more concrete than your curriculum standards. Let's start with the core idea, and it's a simple one. AI should work backward from your standard, not forward from a blank page. This is actually a well-established idea in curriculum design. It's often called backward design, from the work of Grant Wiggins and Jay McTighe. The idea is you start with the end goal, the standard, the outcome you need students to demonstrate, and then you design everything else, the activities, the assessments, the materials, to get there. Most people, understandably, do it backwards. They think of an activity first, something fun, something they saw online, something that worked with a different group of kids 2 years ago, and then they try to retrofit it to a standard afterward. When you bring AI into the picture, that bad habit gets amplified, because the AI will happily generate something engaging and well-produced that has nothing to do with your actual target. It doesn't know any better. It's just responding to whatever you asked for. So here's how you flip that with an AI tool. Instead of prompting with something vague like, "Give me a fun activity for my Spanish 2 class," you start with the standard itself. Let's say you're working with an ACTFL benchmark around interpersonal communication at the intermediate low-level students, initiating and sustaining a conversation, not just answering questions someone else asked them. You'd tell the AI exactly that. You'd say something like, "I need an activity aligned to ACTFL, intermediate low. Interpersonal communication students should initiate and sustain a basic conversation using questions and answers on personal topics. Here's my class, 22 ninth graders, second year of Spanish, mixed comfort levels with speaking out loud." Now the AI has something real to work with. It's not guessing at what fun means to you. It's building toward a specific named outcome. Same principle applies well outside of language teaching. If you're a science teacher working with an NGSS standard on energy transfer, you don't ask for a cool experiment. You give the AI the actual standard language, the performance expectation, word for word if you can, and you ask it to design something that gets students demonstrating that specific skill, not just talking about the topic in general terms. And this matters for elementary teachers too, even outside of subject-specific standards. If you're working on a reading foundational skill or a math practice standard around modeling with mathematics, the same rule applies. Paste in the actual standard. Now here's the part people skip, and it's the part that actually matters most. After the AI generates something, you check it against the standard yourself. Don't just trust that because you mentioned the standard in your prompt, the output actually hits it. Go back to the standard's language, line by line. Does the activity actually require students to do the verb in the standard initiate, analyze, construct, evaluate, whatever it is? Or does it just touch the topic without hitting the actual skill? A good habit here, and this is something you can build permanently into your own workflow, is to literally ask the AI to show its work. After it generates the activity, follow up and ask, point to exactly which part of this activity addresses each part of the standard. Make it walk you through its own reasoning. If it can't clearly map its own output back to the standard, piece by piece, that's a sign the alignment isn't real, and you need another pass before you use it with students. Let's talk about pacing guides for a second, because this is the other half of the alignment problem. Even if a lesson is standards aligned in the abstract, it might be aligned to a standard you're not supposed to be teaching yet. So when you're using AI to build something, tell it where you actually are in your sequence. Something like, "This is week 6 of our unit students have already covered basic present tense conjugation. This activity should build on that, not reteach it." Say you're a middle school social studies teacher, and your standard is about analyzing primary sources. You can actually hand the AI both pieces of that puzzle at once, the standard and the range of your classroom, and ask for a tiered version of the same activity. Let's also touch on something that comes up constantly with rubrics. If your standard says students need to construct an argument supported by evidence, and the AI-generated rubric you're handed just measures grammar and neatness, that rubric is not actually assessing the standard. Before you hand a rubric to students, ask yourself, does each criterion on this rubric map back to something the standard is actually asking for? If a criterion doesn't trace back to the standard, either cut it or understand clearly that it's a separate expectation. One more caution before we wrap up. Don't let "it's aligned to the standard" become the only bar you're checking. A worksheet can technically hit a standard and still be boring, or age inappropriate, or culturally tone-deaf for your specific students. Alignment is necessary, but it's not sufficient on its own. The AI can get you to technically correct. Only you can get it to actually good for my students. So here's what to walk away with from this lesson. Start with the standard, not the activity. Resist the pull to lead with something fun and retrofit it later. Give the AI the actual, precise language of the standard. Ask the AI to show you exactly how its output maps back to the standard piece by piece. Check your rubrics the same way you check your activities. And always run your own final check on tone, engagement, and appropriateness. In the next activity, you're going to practice exactly this, taking one of your own standards and running it through this entire process. I'm Sawyer. Let's keep building your toolkit. Next up, practice activity, standard alignment.